Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor and welcome back to another episode of Fishing with Crendor. And today I am joined by...
Hello, I'm Mooclucking.
Hello, I'm Mooclucking.
Hello,
Hello,
Mr. Crendor.
So, I believe this is episode 10, the 10th episode. You're the first double digit.
The big 1-0.
The big 1-0. So...
I feel privileged to be
Well, why don't you tell everybody what you do and who you are and all that stuff?
Oh, well, I make World of Warcraft Machinima videos are on my channel. And I've been doing that since, I think, the end of 2012 was when I started. And I'm still going now. And hopefully I've improved since then.
I would hope so, too. I know that... you have quite a few. I don't know if a lot of people know about you, but I think you have a lot of really good Machinima stuff because I've seen a lot of people make Machinima throughout the years, and I would say you and Nixium and maybe like a handful of others are probably the most entertaining that I've seen.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think almost everyone that comes on here and talks about Machinima always has to mention Oxhorn.
Yeah.
I think Nixium did it, and like I'm probably going to do it. And the guy was just like such an awesome inspiration for making Machinima. I just have to quickly drop in that, like, thank you, Oxhorn, so much.
Yeah.
Is the dude, like, oh my goodness, his videos. So amazing. Like, I remember watching his I think it's his medley video.
Yeah, the Oxhorn medley.
Yeah, like I can go back and watch that any day of the week and still like smile at it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's just a very catchy song. If anyone watching doesn't know who Oxhorn is, go to YouTube and search him, or Fishing with Crendor episode 3, I believe.
Yeah.
And you'll learn all about him, and there's links to him there, so just go there if you want to learn about Oxhorn. But yeah, he's a cool guy. He made awesome Machinimas. He was one of the first people I saw with Machinima, too.
Yeah.
One of the original OG Machinima, WoW Machinima people, at least.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the guy is so talented. He could write and sing, and goodness. I'm sure he can dance as well.
Possibly. Maybe he can't. Maybe he can only write and sing. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've made quite a lot of Machinimas. So is that where you got inspired for making Machinimas, was just Oxhorn and like all the WoW stuff coming out?
I think it was, yeah. I mean, I used to watch Oxhorn like all the time. Even, I think I actually started watching his videos before I even played WoW. Like, I think I saw his Rufflemal video and some of his Inventing Swear Word series, and I don't know, for years I was like, oh, I should make a Machinima video, but always kind of doubted that I could do it.
Yeah.
And I think eventually you just reach that point where you're like, okay, I need to try at least. Like,
yeah.
I think in a way I'm my own worst enemy, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way as well. But it's just like you kind of spend ages telling yourself, like, okay, I'm gonna maybe plan this out. I'm gonna try this. I'll think about writing this script, and eventually I just sat down. I was like, okay, today's the day. Gonna make a video. I'm gonna try and be funny on the internet, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, because I can relate a lot to that, because I did that. I still do that with numerous things. I did that with this show. I was like, guys, Fishing with Crendor, it's coming soon. And then a year and a half later, I was just like thinking about, like, all right, how am I going to do it? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it and see what happens. And here we are.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, you just really, I feel like half of doing like videos or creating stuff or whatever it is, just sitting down and doing it. And it's like that discipline. There's some quote I saw somewhere where it was like, everybody looks for motivation, but really it's more about discipline and like making yourself sit down and do the thing you want to do instead of waiting for that motivation to come.
Yeah. I think it's kind of good to have that self-doubt a little bit though, because it always keeps
Yeah.
you kind of like it keeps your eyes open to criticism. Like you can look at your video afterwards and be like, okay, well, I see something wrong here. I didn't like that shot, or I didn't, like the audio in that bit. I mean, I think I do that with every single one of the videos that I
Yeah.
upload.
I
I
do that
don't
with
think I'm,
everyone.
yeah,
I go
I
back and
don't,
watch them, and I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, I wish I would have changed something with their, like, changed that scene or did this or did that, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single video I've uploaded where I can say I'm honestly happy with it. I think I usually upload, and then for a day I'm happy, and then I immediately start nitpicking like, okay, no, this is wrong, this is wrong here. But I think it's good to have that. Like if anyone's listening and they want to start making videos, always keep your eyes open and just be open to criticism as well. That's the best thing.
Yeah, criticism. You have to be open to criticism. You can't like take to heart the ones that are just like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen or like whatever. But like, if a bunch of people are like, I really don't like the way the audio sounds, or I really don't like this part, or and like it's
Yeah.
thumbs up by a bunch of people and everybody's saying it, you can't just be like, well, they just don't know what they're talking about. It's
Yeah.
kind of be like, well, they're right, yeah.
And on the internet, you can get an insult and criticism in like rolled into one comment. Like this
Yeah.
video is gay. The audio is bad. It's like, okay.
Yeah, they'll just roll it all up like, this is the stupidest shit I ever seen in my life. However, this thing could be better. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, well, why didn't you say the last part first?
Why can't you be nice, internet?
So how did you get into Warcraft or gaming in general, or what's your story?
I think I've been gaming pretty much all my life, but for WoW, I mean, I didn't get into it immediately. I knew about WoW for a long time, like since it launched, was it 2004 it came out, like
Mm-hmm.
vanilla.
Yep.
Um, I had a friend in school who played it, but me and my group of friends, like other group of friends, we played RuneScape pretty much. Every time we got home from school, I used to get on and mine ore and smith it into iron bars or mithril bars or whatever. That game was so grindy. I look back and think, oh god, I must have been insane for playing it. But eventually, I think it was. I went over to my friend's house who had World of Warcraft, and he was like, "Play it, try it, you'll like it." And I was like, "Okay." And I made an undead mage was my very first character, and I think I named him something beginning with Z because when you're a teenager, Z is such a cool letter.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think I only got to like level 6, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, I only ran around that little undead village, killed some zombies, but I did really enjoy my time with it. But then I didn't pick the game up again until Wrath of the Lich King. Like I actually got it for myself, and I think what really turned me onto it was I mean that cinematic trailer for Wrath of the Lich King, with
Oh
Arthas
yeah.
frozen, and he cracks open. You have the narration with Tyrannus over the top, and I really like sort of undead kind of themes in fantasy, and then this cinematic goes all out, and there's a bloody undead dragon. It's like
Yeah.
whoa, and it flies down over that undead army, like whoa. And I was just like, I've got to play this game, and I picked it up not too long after launch of Wrath of the Lich King, I don't think, and I have been playing it ever since.
Well, that's still a pretty long time. Because I always think
Yeah.
back to Wrath of the Lich King, and I'm like, oh yeah, Wrath of the Lich King, it wasn't that long. And then I'm like, wait, that was like 3 expansions ago, and it was like probably
Mm.
like 5 years ago now, like 6 years
Yeah.
ago, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, it's almost half the life of the game, and I feel like
Yeah,
it's still pretty long.
that is pretty long.
Although I have taken some breaks, of course. I think everyone
Yeah,
takes a few breaks
everybody takes a
from
few
WoW.
breaks.
Yeah, you can't keep playing all the time.
That's also why we're in Howling Fjord.
Yes, it's a lovely place. It's beautiful, undead-filled, Viking theme zone. It's lovely.
It is. I fished with WoW Hobbs last week, and we fished in Grizzly Hills.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then, who did I fish with? I fished with somebody else that was in Northrend. I think maybe they wanted to go to Northrend, but then we didn't. Oh no, I fished with Boogie and Dalaran. A lot of people have always just wanted Dalaran, but not Dalaran, Northrend. But I think that's
Yeah.
because it's like a well-designed, just entire continent, and it's very beautiful. And it's like it's got that Norse feel, and the lights like the Aurora Borealis.
Oh yeah, I actually think one of my fondest memories of WoW was like I was leveling. I think I was about level 40 something. Um, Back then I think it was still the same character I play today, my warlock, and I had the big anime kind of style hair, bright
Mm.
blonde, had a purple tunic and green gloves. Nothing matched because of vanilla gear.
Yeah.
And I was passing through, I think, Menifil Harbor, and my friend was like, "Hey, come up to Northrend, jump on the boat." And I was like, "Okay." And I got on that boat and sailed up, and you go in through the cliffs, and there's that boat hanging down, and
Oh
then
yeah.
yeah, and then you veer through the caves and you pull in. My friend, he was having like a lucky week, I think, because he had just got what was it called, the Red Sword of Courage from Utgard Pinnacle, because he was a tank,
Oh
and he
yeah.
had just flew down on this giant green dragon. He had also got the green proto drake from the egg from
From the egg from
yeah,
Sholazar.
he was really lucky, and he was like, "Dude, look at it," and I was like, "Whoa!" Like I hadn't seen a mount this big before. This giant dragon like just boom hit the floor in front of me and is like crawling towards me on its wings. And I'm like, that's so cool. I've got to get to max level and get me one of them. I still don't have the green proto to this day.
I feel like a lot of people have those like right when you start experiences in I think it's just a lot of games, but WoW specifically, where like you enter the game and the world's just like massive and you just see
Yeah.
all the cool stuff where you're like, oh my god, a dragon, oh my god, a giant castle and waterfalls, and it's like it just blows you away. And then after a while you kind of get used to it all and it just becomes another place.
Yeah.
And I think everybody wants to go back and experience it for the first time again. Because I think that's when people
Yeah.
are just like, oh my god, they're just blown away by all of it.
Yeah, when you're running around and you're a noob and you don't know what's going on, you're like, oh, who's this character? He's called the Lich King. Who's he? Is he important? And it's like, yeah, he's pretty important.
Oh, I actually reminded me I made a video on that, like old WoW, or like WoW as a noob versus WoW as a veteran, or whatever. I
Yeah.
forget what I called it, but and I like made the noob version. It's like bright and colorful and happy, and they're like, yeah, this is awesome. And the other one's like just gray and black, and they're just like, pull the mobs, 40% chance to crit.
Yeah.
It's just
I
like,
often feel like that nowadays. I feel like I've grown up and I'm like, yeah, this game, yeah, new zone. Where's the most effective place to grind material? Stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Man, it makes me it's like want to take a time machine for like 2 days. Only 2 days. Not like I don't want to stay there. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to like travel back and stay there unless you're
Yeah.
in some like really bad situation right now. Like I hate being in debt and working a crappy job. I want to go back to school where I didn't have to like do anything.
Go back to school, yeah, and just come home and play World of Warcraft all night, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the audience for WoW is quite old, isn't it? Like, it's older than I thought it was. Like, a lot of people
Yeah.
in their 20s play, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. That kind of shows that the audience have stuck with it for quite some time.
Yeah, because when I started, I was 14 or 15. I was
Yeah.
around that age, and so I mean it was like 10 years ago. So now I'm like 25,
Hmm.
and it's just yeah, it is weird because it's like you grow up with the game,
Yeah.
and it's like I think back on like high school memories and like college memories and all the things, and like like each year has like a different WoW thing tied to it. like a WoW thing. Which is what, like, I remember freshman year, I'm like, oh yeah, vanilla WoW. And like sophomore year, I'm like, oh yeah, like Wrath of the Lich King or Burning Crusade came out, and I remember wanting to skip school the next day to play it, and I was like, I can't skip school. And then like Wrath comes out and Cataclysm. And I remember with Cataclysm, that's when I started making videos, and so I have like strong memories of like that, like my after I graduated, and it's just like every year has like different things tied to it, but they're all like including WoW in some way.
I actually remember playing Wrath of the Lich King at Christmas once, and it's really rare in England to get like a white Christmas, like especially in the South.
Yeah.
But it actually snowed like one year while we were playing Wrath, and it was like I'm sitting in here running around in snow in game, and looking out the window, and it's snowing outside, and it's like, ooh.
I think it's like those
I'm
little
living
moments. Yeah, it's like those little moments that make you feel that nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like I even have some moments I feel like where I was in the Barrens, and it was like vanilla WoW, and I was just like, still, I don't know why, it was a weekend, and I was in the Barrens, and I found like silver ore in like the Wailing Caverns, like little pool on the outside, and I was like really excited about it. I was like, silver ore, and for some reason that memory just like stuck in my head.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like,
yeah.
I actually remember loads of things while leveling, and this was 5 years ago, and you'd think, oh, it's just a game, why would I kind of keep hold of all these memories? I actually remember Warlocks used to have the class quest where you had to travel across the world to find your demons, or to enslave them.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think it was the succubus. I'm not 100% sure, but to do it for like alliance members, you had to travel all the way to the Barrens, which at like, I think it was like level 20. Like that is a big deal. Like you can't get there without having to go through like these higher level zones.
Yeah.
And so my friend had to run me down through Stranglethorn Vale, like escort me all the way to Booty Bay to catch the boat. And on our way there, I think it's like the Panthers that they used to have there. I think they're still there. And it jumped out on me. My friend just, he hits it, and it was a death knight. Like just one shots it, and an epic ring dropped, and he was like, "Oh, put that on the auction house." And I remember that to this day. Just finding an epic ring, like, cool.
And it's weird because like those epic drops were just really cool back then, I guess, because I don't know, epics felt a little more epic. Like I still want them to like take epic gear and then take like even mythic gear, like all the higher up gears, and make that like red or like orange, or not orange because legendary, but like yellow, or I don't know. They could think up a color.
Go through the color scales. Yeah, we got what, like white, green, blue, purple, orange. Red. Red would be good. That'd be awesome. Someone in red, you'd be like, whoa.
I know, and I feel like it needs that. It needs that. That where you look at someone and you're like, oh my god, that's so cool, I want that, instead of just being like, oh yeah, everybody has that. And transmogrification like kind of changes that, but at the same time, like you wouldn't want to transmogrify if you had the super cool gear and we're like, oh yeah.
I'm currently wearing well, I'm probably about to replace it with the new raid out, but I'm wearing the Blackrock Foundry set, just because I think, this looks so cool. Like I did Heroic Blackrock Foundry. I want to wear this.
I'm actually wearing tier 2 priest.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really like tier 2 Warlock, but at the moment I can't wear it because there's a horrible little bug with the face mask where my chin pokes through like the mask, and it looks like I have a little bot on my face.
Oh, God.
So I can't wear it. Just like, no, I can't walk around with a bot on my face.
So you play a warlock? So you like always you always played a warlock?
I've dabbled in other classes. Nixium always laughs at me because I keep making warrior ults. Like for some reason, every time I go on a new server, and like I start playing something new, I'm like, I'll make a warrior. And I think I have an endless amount of warriors just scattered across all these realms. no, I main a warlock. I don't know why. I just really like the class. I always like kind of dark sorcerer kind of type
Yeah.
classes in games. If there was a necromancer class, I'd be playing that. But warlocks are good.
Yeah, I know. And you play a human too, right?
Yeah, human.
So you said earlier that you really liked undead. So what made you play a human
Yes.
and not an undead?
Friends mainly.
Oh.
When I actually joined the game, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be an undead warlock. And then my friends like, well, you can't play with us then. And I'm like, oh. It's like, well, what can I be on Alliance then? And they were like, you can either be a human or a gnome, because that was the only choice at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I guess I'll be human then. They did add I was actually a Worgen for a time. Like when Cataclysm came out, I race changed to Worgen, and I do really like the Worgen as well. I quite like their Cockney accents.
Yeah.
And I was playing it, and Worgen are really cool, but I realized very quickly that Worgen have a strange thing that happens to their helmets and masks, where it kind of looks like they're stuck in a plastic bag. Like, I got this hood from a Cataclysm dungeon. It's like a full face mask, and it's just stretched over its face. And I was like, this looks so weird. And I think I went through Cataclysm as a Worgen, and at the end I was like, I think I'm gonna change back to human.
Do you actually have any like undead alts?
I think I have a few. I think I have a priest, which you used to be an undead priest, didn't you?
I did. I
Yeah.
made an undead priest and I played vanilla on him, and then I race changed him to a gnome, and then I race changed him to I feel like something else, and then a goblin. It may have been undead gnome goblin, but actually, yeah, I think that's what it
cool as
was.
well.
I've lost track. I've changed. All I know is I've been a priest.
I love how the races in WoW have like sort of varying accents. I think Goblin's one of my favorites as well. I can't really. Is it kind of like
It's like a New
is it-
Yorker,
yeah,
New Yorker, New Jersey, that area. Like, hey, what do you do?
Yeah, hey buddy, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and then humans are kind of stereotypical, like, hello,
Well-
how are you doing today?
Well met. Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool, but it's like dwarf is like the typical like dwarf. I'm bad at dwarf accents, so I can't do that.
Yeah, I feel like if I do that, I'm gonna offend someone. It's kind of like either Scottish or Irish accent.
Yeah,
They just sound like they're shouting a lot with their "keep your feet on the ground."
they do.
That's just terrible.
It's very angry, like German.
German.
I mean, they don't sound like they're German. They just sound angry like they're German.
Yeah.
So that's like everybody makes fun of the German language because they're like, and it's like they're saying "I love you" or something.
I knew some Germans in university, and they were like the nicest guys. They kept inviting me around to
Yeah.
have like sausages and beer with them. They're
That's not
great guys.
stereotypical.
But yeah, I love dwarves. Like I think they're hilarious. I think they're probably. I don't know if I could say I have a favorite race in WoW because I kind of like all of them with just their voices and their cultures. I think that I don't know. It's just great that WoW has these like various kind of styles that are in the game. It's great.
Yeah, I always like the cartoon style of the game too. I've talked about this a few times, but like that's one of the things that always brought me back to it and attracted me to
Yeah.
it in the first place. It's just that it's very like cartoony, and because of that, it helps it like last through the years without feeling as dated as it could be.
Yeah, I mean we're standing in Northrend right now, and I don't think it really looks that bad. It's like
Yeah,
5 years old, and I think it looks pretty good considering.
I know, I do too. But
Yeah.
you know, some people are like, I want it to be super realistic, and I'm like, I don't.
No. I mean, like, there's so many MMOs out now with realistic kind of graphics. Like, Elder Scrolls Online was pretty realistic,
Mm-hmm.
and I do like Elder Scrolls, but I don't know. Like, I feel like WoW just it's just got this really nice look to it. Everything's kind of bouncy, if you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. Like everything just flows really well. Like when you cast and when you attack, it just looks so cool.
I've always thought that about like all Blizzard games. Actually, I think it
Yeah,
might just be. I think it stems from their Warcraft stuff because
yeah,
like whether I play even just Hearthstone or like Diablo 3 or uh like Heroes of the Storm or even when I played Overwatch at BlizzCon, like all
mm,
those games, they have that like flow to them. It just feels very smooth, and I've noticed that with Blizzard games primarily, and like very little with like other types of games. So I don't know what they do with their engine or with whatever they do, but
yeah.
I love the feel. Like Diablo 3, I even like I'll go back and everybody's like that game's so bad, but like I love the feel of it still, and it makes me want to play
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I occasionally pick up Diablo and crank the difficulty up and just go fight the bosses on there. Just, I
Yeah.
really like I really like the fight with Malphite on there. That one was cool.
Yeah, I was gonna start playing it again actually because I don't know, I had the urge to play it, and now I know they've improved it a lot, and they got rid of the auction house, and
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
uh,
that was good. That's a
yeah.
good move.
So I'm curious to give it another try because I actually really like that game.
Yeah, oh, it was great. I mean, have
Uh,
you played? Well, I asked you earlier before the little interview, but
yeah.
do you play much of WoW nowadays?
Uh, it's like it's like I still want to play, but
Yeah,
I just don't. I don't have that same urge to like get on and do stuff in it. And I know a lot of people that are like that as well now. Like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I hopped on for a little bit and I want to do stuff, but I was kind of like, but I'm gonna go play something else."
yeah, yeah. I got that feel as well. I mean, I think if it wasn't for my guild currently on WoW, I probably wouldn't be playing because I don't know. Like we've been sort of praising, WoW so much, but
Yeah,
like I feel like a big part of it is, of course, like the community and the social relations that you form in WoW. I think that's really what has held it together for so long.
it definitely
Like,
is.
yeah, yeah. Like if I didn't wasn't in this guild, if I didn't chat to these people and go raiding with them and have fun with them, and I probably wouldn't still be playing.
Yeah, because I mean, back in Wrath of the Lich King, that was my favorite expansion. I'm always like, oh man, Wrath was the best. And at the same time, that's probably when I was the most like active with my guild and playing. And I'm
Yeah,
like, well, maybe I liked it that much because of that. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
You know, and like Vanilla WoW too. Like I was part of my raiding guild and have all those memories there, and even Burning Crusade. Like I had a lot of real life friends playing, and so I'm like, well, maybe the game still is that good. I just, I don't have a lot of people playing with me anymore.
yeah.
It's very
I still
possible.
remember like my first sort of big guild that I joined back in Wrath. I think it was called Serious Cats. It was such a weird name. And that little
Intense
symbol.
guild.
Yeah, it was like the little kitty cat picture, on the
Yeah.
pink tabard. But I remember all the guys from it, and we had a lot of fun. And it's like, I mean, I still know a couple of them that are playing, but a lot of them have moved on to other things now.
Yeah. I think that happens for a lot of people as people just move on to other
Yeah,
games or just with life in general. But I don't know. I'm glad that like I still get to play WoW and like I get to talk to people about their WoW experiences, which is like pretty much the main reason I did this show because I was
yeah,
like, I wonder what everybody else's WoW experiences are like. So everybody goes on the forums and is like, I remember when I played WoW, blah blah, and I'm like, well, we should just have a show where people talk about it like old men.
yeah. So, like old men going fishing.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, we used to fight the Lich King, don't you know?
I flew over to see the ship that's hanging in between
Oh yeah.
the little valley thing
I
we
wonder
were
how
talking about.
how
Yeah,
they get it up there. Those Brackle must be strong.
they must be strong. I mean, they are kind of like giants,
No, that is
so
true.
they probably had uh, not too much effort.
I'm surprised it's still on fire after 5 years.
I know, it just keeps burning.
It just keeps going.
It keeps going and going. So, what are some of your other like favorite memories from playing?
I suppose I should mention raiding, like, because that's such a big part of the game.
Yeah.
But I remember my first raid was with it was with my friends. It was in a pug group for what was his name? The big black dragon in under Wormrest. I can't. Safarian, that's the
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, with the three drakes.
Yep.
And I just remember like getting in there and being such a noob. Like I had not read any guides about my class. I was probably in the wrong gear. I think I was in like greens and blues from dungeons, and
Yeah.
I was like, I probably didn't even know my rotation. Like, am I meant to use Searing Pain, the move that generates fret? Like, no, probably not. But I remember doing that and being the bottom of the DPS, and just when it came to the loot, and I rolled, and I won the tier gloves, like I think it was tier 7, and instantly the chat in there just being filled with like, oh, it goes to the worst player in the raid, like, you know, this loser, this noob. And like, I know you asked for fondest memories, but like, that doesn't sound great. But I don't know why. Like, again, that sticks in my mind. I think like it was a really good kind of experience to kind of know like, okay, I've got to do better. You know, I've got these gloves now. I better learn how to put them to good use.
Yeah.
But after that, we moved into like Naxxramas, and I really liked Naxxramas. Like, I know everyone says that the vanilla version was really good as well because it was super hard.
Hmm.
But I really liked the Wrath one because it was kind of like a little intro raid. What was the boss's name with the little dance phase? Hygen, I think.
Oh yeah, the safety dance. I think it was
Yeah.
Hagen.
Every time we used to do that boss, you know, we used to sit there sort of humming the safety dance as we ran across the room with you know, the green slime shooting up at us. But it was a lot of fun, and you know, being part of this guild and like slowly clearing out that. I mean, it was really big. I think Nax, loads of bosses.
Hmm.
You know, clearing out the wings one by one, and then finally you get to go up and fight the skeleton dragon, and then Mr. Kel'Thuzad himself, who I think is probably my favorite lore character for WoW,
Hmm.
and just fighting him and then downing him, like that was just such a good experience. Like,
Yeah.
and like I say, like obviously it was a lot of fun getting loot and killing our boss, but doing it with those people in your guild that you've like formed this like social relation with, that you know you're kind of like your friends now. And it was just great. Like, you know, he goes down and everyone cheers like, "Oh, we did it!"
Yeah.
Even though, you know, all the hardcore players would be like, "Kel'Thuzad, he was easy."
Yeah.
But to us it was like, "Yeah, we did it!"
Yeah.
And then we all jump on that big skeleton throne that he has, and we all take a
Oh
picture.
yeah. The after picture.
Yeah, the after picture of your boss kill. Gotta do that.
Speaking of friendship, how did you meet Nixium? 'Cause I know a lot of people know you with Nixium. It's like a pairing.
Nixium. Wow. We were on OkCupid one day, and
Just perfect match.
you're the perfect match. No, I think it was after I did. What video was it? I think it was like maybe like my cooking with the Thunder King video or something like that. One of
Mhm.
those really silly videos I made when I was starting out. And I think I left a comment on one of Nixium's videos saying like, "Hey, you know, this is really good. I enjoyed it." And he sent me a private message and was just like, "Hey, do you want to like make a video together?" And you know, like he was like the first person really like out, you know, it from the WoW community that had ever contacted me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm like, yeah, sure, sure thing." Like, if you want me, I mean, like,
If you want me.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Cupid. But But yeah, the first video we made together was I think it was on his channel, and it was the day of the cataclysm, and I voiced a guard that ran around and panicked a lot, and it was a lot of fun. And since then, we exchanged working together, and then we just ended up sort of becoming friends, and now we're always in each other's videos. We just can't get rid of each other.
It's pretty much like my life with Jesse.
Yeah, Mr. Conks.
Yep. He was just like, hey, want to edit a WoW thing for me? I see you do WoW stuff. And I was like, sure. And then he was like, hey, want to make a WoW like show where we roleplay on Moonguard or whatever? I'm like, okay. And that just kept going. And then it was like, well, now that's a thing.
I remember Jesse from like some of the early WoW Machinimas. Like I think I made the joke to Nixium, like if you go back and watch some of the WoW Machinimas from around like TBC into Wrath, Jesse Cox is almost in every single one.
He really is.
Yeah, I think he voiced Frau like a billion times.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really good at it.
Yeah, he's in like every BlizzCon entry for like movies and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he was Edwin Van Cleef in that little Welcome to the Dead Mines. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
That was great.
He's in a few Oxhorn ones as well.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? He voices a gnome in one episode, I remember.
Yep.
That gnome, like, engineer. Yeah, he gets around, Jesse.
He does. I told him, I'll have you on the show one of these days. Because I was going to have him as the first one, and I was like, I already do so much with him. I'm like, I'll save him for a later date.
Oh,
then I can expand my horizon. Well, yeah, but like, I feel like I already know a lot about him, and he knows, like, everybody else knows a lot about him. So I was like, I'm gonna get some other people on here, because I actually enjoy like bringing on people that I've never talked to before, but that I've like seen and stuff, because it's like you get to make new like friends and stuff, and on top of that, it's like you get to learn about. It's like new stories that you've never heard before.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've ever spoke, and I'm having a lot of fun.
I know. I'm not having any fun.
I'm not having any fun. I'm miserable. Get me out of here.
But I feel like I should mention your YouTube stuff again, because how many subscribers do you have?
I think I'm just over 43,000 now. I think.
I feel like you should have at least 100,000 because
that's very kind.
You have, I mean, even your views, like you got like 100,000, like to 200,000 views per video. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean,
it might be that I don't upload too frequently. Like,
yeah,
it's always something that I make in my spare time. Like, when I started making videos, I never thought I'd even have 40,000. I didn't even think I'd have 10,000. Yeah. I thought, I mean, if I thought I was going to be successful at it, I probably would have chosen a better name. I mean,
yeah, I think that's everybody.
Yeah.
WoWcrendor.
The warlock. Well, Crendor's not too bad. At least it sounds like a sort of name.
Yeah.
Mooclucking. No idea why I chose that.
I mean, you're Mooclucking.
Yeah.
You're walking around and you're clucking and you're mooing.
The human warlock. Nothing to do with cows and chickens.
But it's, I don't know, it's always funny how people pick their names too. It's funny because the people that pick like the names where they're like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing this thing full time, they like never take off, and the people with like random ass names always like end up being the bigger one.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I mean, I have like had a few messages from people like, how'd you get big? How'd you get successful? Like, I don't know. Like, dude, ask someone who's big and successful. Like,
yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I'm just sort of winging it at the moment.
I've been winging it for a long time. So I remember even like when I would play, I was talking about Rurikar. He made like Jimmy the World of Warcraft story and all that. And that was back in Wrath. I was raiding his guild, and I remember I had like a few thousand subscribers at the time, probably like 2,000 or 3,000. And he had like 20-something thousand because he made Unforgotten Realms and had his WoW stuff. And I was like, man, if I had 20,000 subscribers, I would do anything to have that. And it's just like, I look back and I'm like, well.
I actually used to watch Rurika's Unforgotten Realms on The Escapist.
Oh, really?
I actually, I remember it quite well with Roman, the
Roman
was
the
it
Paladin.
level 11 paladin or
Yep.
something like that. I
Yeah,
remember him.
something.
Yeah, and he had a little rhyme whenever he appeared. It was great.
Yep. And I'm gonna have him on one of these days. I think he's gonna be on like next week. I was gonna fish with him, but it's weird because he was like my first really big inspirational person that like motive, because I watched Unforgotten Realms, so I was like, this is just funny, and I love the humor, and I love the sense of humor and like the sarcasm in it. And then I saw his WoW videos, and that's like what inspired me to like make that. So he always like would like joke with me when we were in our guild. He'd be like, "Did I inspire you?" And I'm like, I mean, yeah, but you're being an asshole about it.
It's strange because I feel like recently I've actually been on the receiving end of that. Like, we had a guy join our guild, and usually, like, I keep my head down, like on WoW. Like, I don't, I don't really like parading around being like, "Hey, it's me from the internet."
Yeah.
But this guy, he recognized my name, and he was like, "Hey, you the guy from YouTube?" And I'm like, "Yeah." and he's like, "Oh man, I love your videos." And he actually sent me like an in-game mail while I was offline saying like, "Oh, I really want to get into making Machinima, or I really want to start video editing." And I was like, "Oh yeah, definitely, dude. Like, you should link me some of your videos sometime on like a Mumble server." And he's like, yeah. So that like it was weird for me to be on the receiving end of that.
It is, and it's like once you start meeting more and more people that do it and everything, it's like you realize that they're just people.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people like super fanboy out over everything, and that's what like meeting him actually taught me, and like raiding with him and everything. Is I was like, here's this person, I was like, I love their videos, I love all their stuff, and I get to raid with them. This is awesome. And like after raiding with him, I was just like, well, he's just like, he's another human on the planet, and he's,
I do wonder if this guy
funny.
does think I'm like a miserable, like, because I'm the raid lead, so I wonder how he feels afterwards. Doesn't seem to hate me yet, so that's good.
But it is, I don't know, it's a long journey road. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's a long road. It's got a lot of things on the road,
Yeah.
This is probably a good time to just plug your stuff.
Sure. I make, like I said earlier, World of Warcraft Machinimas over at youtube.com/Mooclucking. And yeah, I hope to see some new viewers over there. I look forward to reading all your comments.
I'll put links to those in the description.
Thank you.
And let's see, you got Twitter too. I'll put your Twitter and your YouTube.
Oh, thank
I'll
you.
put both of those. Hot dog.
Oh, you're a gentleman.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. It was a good convo.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. And go watch his videos. They're funny. And be like, Crendor sent me. And then I can like analytically track people that have gone there. And be like, yeah, I sent 150 thumbs up to your channel.
You can give yourself a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right. I'm bad at editing these. Things. I don't know.
Shall I do a you?
Yeah.
Should we...
Yeah.
See ya.
See you.